Okay, well, welcome back to my studio. I am Pierre, your host, and today is a day of yin and yang. We've had major progress because we have a new microphone. I don't have to wear my son's gaming headset with the mic and the speakers. So that's one good thing. The other negative thing is that I hear there's a thunderstorm coming. You can hear the thunder, and since everything is Wi-Fi, I wouldn't be surprised if my secondary camera went offline. So we'll just have to keep our fingers crossed. Like usual, I do have these kind of technical difficulties as I am always waiting for my equipment to arrive. I have ordered a little box that will permit me to put my HD cameras. Well, first of all, I do have a little switcher here, right here. And this allows me to put my two HD cameras in here. They're HDMI outputs. So I come in here with my HDMI inputs, and then I go out of here as an HDMI. But unfortunately, you can't hook up this to the computer. It doesn't work that way. What you need basically is another box that goes between the switcher and the computer. And that's the one I ordered several weeks ago. Unfortunately, like an idiot, I didn't pay attention where I was buying it from, and it's coming from China. So I guess I'm just going to have to wait. Probably won't receive it till the end of the month, maybe even the beginning of next month, if I ever get it at all. So anyways, what did we do yesterday? Well, yesterday we continued on my painting. We did the background. As you can see, we did the gold rings, which I call my electromagnetic waves. And then we also did these little bubbles or planets, whatever you'd like to call them. And so we did that. And usually when I do that, and I'm at that stage of the game, I usually kind of like to splatter on top of that using this as a background. But for some reason, I kind of like I like the way things are, the way they are now. So I think I'm going to wait and continue the painting, and then I'll see at the end what if I'm going to do any more splattering or not. But so far, leaving it like that, it kind of pleases me. Now I know, of course, that there is going to be like a black outline between the inner shell and the outer shell. That's for sure. And depending again how I feel at the end, there might even be like a little frame, black frame around it. I'm not sure. I mean, this is kind of like a puzzle. You put everything together piece by piece, see how you feel, and then go with it. So what are we going to do today? Today we're going to paint the head, the face, and the hand. And I'm kind of like, I have a dilemma here. I'm not exactly sure what I should do. I mean, the model I used to do the samsara dancer, which is a dancer from Cambodia, I used a little sculpture that wasn't any bigger than this, and where there wasn't any details, but you could tell like the dancer was basically naked and had only like a cloth around his waist and around his genitals, like right about here. So I kind of drew it vaguely because I kind of do like that idea, but I don't really want to have him completely nude either. Most of my people in my paintings, I usually paint the people in light blue, and cerulean blue is usually my favorite color. Sometimes they're yellow. It depends of the painting. So I don't want to have, in this particular painting, I'm not seeing the main character totally dressed in blue. It's not really what I'm seeing. What I am seeing though is a shirt, a beautiful like red, dark red, maybe with gold shirt. I see that much, and I do see that a yellow, golden yellow loincloth as well. But the legs, I'm not sure what to do. And I have to kind of know all this stuff because, as most of you know, you paint from the background towards the foreground, right? So the foreground covers the background. So I know that I'm safe by painting the face right now and the helmet and the gas mask because there is nothing going to be in front of it. So I can do that. I can do the hand that is up like this as well, because I know there's nothing going to bother that. The shirt will be probably the sleeve going there. The other hand, which is in front of the person going like this, I can't touch that right away because there's going to be the shirt behind. So I'm going to do the shirt first. So basically that's what we are going to do. So I'm going to get the paint ready. I'm going to leave you for a few seconds, and I'll be right back, and maybe put a little music in as well in the background. Why not? So, all right. So it's going to be really quickly to get this ready. Basically what I'm going to do is just get them ceruleum in French. I'm not used to speaking English anymore. God, I have to think twice of my sentences. I'm so out of practice, of course, being in France here. I mostly speak French, so that's going to be interesting as well for me. I mean, I am bilingual and grew up with bilingual parents and brother, and we'd start a sentence in French, continue in English, and we'd end the sentence in French. I mean, we mix all these words. Whatever the word would pop up the fastest in the brain is the word we would use. So, so that was kind of fun knowing a couple languages. Because there's some words that express certain things in one language that the other language doesn't express. So, so that's always helpful. So, rid of that. Looks like I'm going to have to go to the store and get a few more paints. I'm running out here. Haven't been in a while, I must admit. And then we have that 2 months of COVID isolation. Didn't get any paints during that. So, what paint brushes am I going to use? That's another good question. I'm not used to painting on such small surfaces. I like larger paintings where I can use my bigger brushes. So much more fun. But anyways, we're not going to complain. After all, I was given this canvas all stretched. I'm not going to let it go to waste. So I'm going to start off maybe with this. And then switch halfway through. So again, this is going to be 2 tones. I do always my masks. 2 tones, light blue and a darker cerulean. So let's go for this here. Okay, I think I'll do it for the first part of the face. Now let's worry about the hand here. Okay. So this is going to be the first part of my painting. First part of the painting, which is basically the light blue, light colored side, and then eventually I'm going to do the second side. What I'm going to do right now is move a fan closer so it dries faster. Now I notice all these young guys, all these websites that I've looked at to learn how to use the program to do the streaming. A lot of these guys, of course, they're all into doing podcasts or playing, talking while they're playing games and explaining the game. 99% of all the guys who teach how to use Streamlabs OBS seems like to be only gamers. So, and they always like to cut down all the noises around them so that the only thing you hear is their voice and the game. But honestly, here in the studio, I'm more, I want the ambiance sounds. So I'm not, I did take off or didn't put on like a noise gate or anything like that because I kind of enjoy hearing the noises, the brushes, and like I often mention, I am in the old part of Nice. So, oh, this is wonderful. Hey, my Gmail is, what the hell? So what? So, Gmail has stopped. What do I give a hoot? Oh, I do give a hoot because that means I'm not streaming anymore. Is that what it means? I don't know what it means. What I do know, though, is I can't get rid of it right now. So, what the hell? I've never had that happen to me before. So let's just switch to this and see if that works. No, it doesn't work. Oh, so what is that? Oh, it's on my fucking, it's on my other fucking camera. Okay, let's get rid of that. Oh, do that. Say okay. Jesus. I can't wait to get my HD cameras hooked up so I don't have these kind of little problems anymore. The focus that pops out every microsecond, so annoying as well. Fortunately, in a few weeks, when I'll be a professional and I know how to work all these keystrokes, we'll get rid of all that. So anyways, as I was saying before, I like having the ambiance of the studio and all the little imperfections, like little pop-up windows on the stream. Gee, how wonderful. But anyways, that's the way it goes. So I am just going to show you very quickly once again my my dancers that I just did several of them on the series that I'm doing now. This is my cosmic dancer on top of the world that I did, I think, towards the beginning of the year, January, February, before we had the wonderful COVID. And and then I did a few years ago this couple of people dancing as well, and that was pretty cool. I have some friends who actually used this painting on one of their CDs of their music, so that was pretty nice of them. And then just before the COVID, I hurried up and finished this kind of a ballerina. So anyways, so that is basically my series of dancers. So it looks like the sun is coming out. That's wonderful. That's a great thing about living in the south of France, is that you can be in a thunderstorm, like with torrential rains, and then 2 hours later be on the beach with not a cloud in the sky. That's how incredible the weather changes so quickly here. As well as you can be on the beach, let's say you're near Easter time or in April, let's say early April or whatever. You can be in the beach in the morning, take a bus and go skiing like an hour and a half later, be on the slopes in the Alps. So that's another advantage of living in Nice. Not to mention you can take the train and within an hour you can be in Italy having pasta in some nice little Italian restaurant right on the coast, or if not in the town of Ventimille, which is just right across the border. So these are some of the advantages of living in the old part of Nice. And again, of course, here's like a fine example of our beaches here, which unfortunately have a big problem. They are not sandy beaches. They are pebbles. I mean, they are so not all that comfortable. There will be beautiful sand beaches in 600,000 years maybe, but for the time being we do with what we have. And these other pictures you can see is the old part of the town of Nice, where my studio is located, and which is one of the main reasons why we have a lot of background noise as well, because between one building and the other you have only like 15 feet. So the sound resonates like you wouldn't believe. If there's a construction going on like 2 streets down, the sound bounces off the walls and you can hear it as though it was going on downstairs. The same too in the evening times when it gets dark or it's a cloudy day, it gets very dark because the buildings are so close together. And it does have the advantage though, is that when it's like 100 degrees out, well, it stays relatively cool because the sun doesn't penetrate. So anyways, there you have a little tour of the town of Nice as we are waiting for the paint to dry so I can go and put in the darker cerulean. So I'm going to go back there and just take a quick look and see if it is drying, or if I can at least put the second coat without making a big mess. I don't really work wet on wet, otherwise I'd be using oils. So anyways, so let me go check that out. Okay. So it is definitely dry enough for me to go in. I might have to put a second coat. And I see that certain places you can see through it, but I'm going to still tackle this. So voila, what else do we have to do? I guess nothing. Get the paint ready, I guess. Up, I'll grab the water. So I got that background done, but I'm going to still, of course, work it out better. So we have so there we go. We got the first set on. I mean, obviously, I kind of do like 99% of a painting, get that completely finished. Then eventually what I do is I go back at the very end, and then I kind of make everything, that never-ending quest for perfection. That's where it comes in. That's where you put in the shading, you fix what's a little bit screwed up, and try to get everything to be as perfect as possible. I think I don't know, I'm open to debate on what is perfect and when do you stop on a painting. I mean, obviously, I don't want this to be like a picture, right? Those days are long gone. I think once you have the idea of the gist and the movement, that's usually good enough for me. I mean, I don't want to be perfect. I don't want this to be like reality, right? So anyways, so that is basically it. I am going to put a little shade on the hand and put the fan back on, and then we'll kind of see where we stand. course, all this will be outlined with black. The face will be outlined with black eventually when it's all done. As you can tell that my style of painting has been hugely influenced by the fact that for years I just painted posters. I painted posters that I glued on the street, and that I basically just try to bring some color. You know, I did this with my friends in Paris. I've glued posters in Amsterdam, in Berlin, in New York City, just about everywhere. And this was like years before street art was a big thing. So here's a few examples of my posters, but from the early days. These are like when I was with my friend, the group Zen Copyright. We opened up galleries, and so made at first posters to let people know where our gallery was, and then little by little we just did posters to decorate a little bit the city. And it was very handy because if we had an art show someplace, we could just bring a roll of our posters and staple them, or even put Scotch tape or tape them on walls, and we'd have instantly an art show of like 5-6 artists. And so we've had quite a few of art shows like that as well, which was pretty cool. So anyways, here are examples of my posters. Obviously, in those days, the priority was quantity, not quality. So we cranked these suckers up quite a bit, just to get them out there as much as possible. I think, here's an example as well of some of my paintings, and in them there are quite a few of the posters, but these are different posters. They were much bigger, like the one we just saw. Here are a couple of other street posters that I did in Nice. This painting here is on canvas. So is this one. And there you can see the wrinkles of paper. That's one that I glued in the streets. So little by little, the posters became more and more sophisticated. Like this one here was also a poster. So was this one. All destined to be glued in the streets. I mean, that's what it was all about. So I remember in Berlin gluing these posters and then going to have like a bite to eat and a beer, and walking out of the kebab place, having a German guy walking, holding one of my posters still dripping wet of glue. So what could I say? Once it's glued in the street, it doesn't belong to me anymore. So he was quick enough and smart enough to take it, and good for him. So anyways, these are samples of my paintings, and don't get offended. I'm going to turn my back on you because I do want to take a look and see where I'm at and what my next step is going to be here. I think the first thing is turning on the fan, of course. So I think the next step, once the hand and face is dry. I think I'm going to put the background color of the shirt. For some reason I need to see some red today, so that's basically what the next step is going to be. So I am going to get the paint ready, and I will be right back. So I don't use a palette. What I use is the top of my paints, and since it's acrylic, it dries pretty good. And all I have to do is just kind of peel off the thick older paint, and then I have a brand new palette, all clean. Look at that. All right. I'll get back to it. Turn back the music on. So I'm just gonna start working and applying that red paint that I have in my mind on the shirt, and then we'll try to figure things out from there, I guess. I just need my red. I need my red. Must be that thing about red wine, maybe from France. Who knows? Anyways, I'm gonna get to it. Oops, I can turn this guy off before it blows all my hair into the paint. Show you that beautiful red paint, but of course with this camera, I don't know if the colors are really that true. But anyways, so let's get this some more brush. So I am sticking to the rules of painting, which is starting with the background and then little by little working towards the foreground. Foreground is always going to be lighter than the background, so I rather do the darker side first, do the darker paint first, and then eventually work my way back to the lighter colors afterwards. I'm not sure how to get this lighter. I don't want to put any white in there because I'm afraid it's going to turn into pink, but I might just use another red, lighter red on top of it. We'll see. Anyways, let's just get this part done. I don't have to be that precise because the fingers are going to be painted on top afterwards, but I can't help myself. I kind of always like to just kind of get us things more or less, even though there is even going to be a black border around the fingers, around the body, around the head, around everything. But still, for some odd reason, I kind of like doing it like this. Right or wrong. Okay, I got that done. Now I gotta figure out the next step. once again, I like to just apply the background and then work things out from there. Oops, nailed it. So I did screw up there. Screwed up. I forgot the forgot about the hand. Kind of went right over thinking about other things. But it doesn't matter because since the hand is in the foreground, I'll be painting over it, so no big deal. But still, goes to show that I'm really not that obvious to paint and then do the stream at the same time. So it's a challenge. Anyways, let's get back to it. great. Nice freeze frame there. Wonderful. That's cool. Oh, the camera's frozen. At least it didn't turn off. That's a miracle. So let me get that out of the way. So basically there's that background. Now I have to take a look at it from far away, which is something I didn't do so far. So I am going to have to let that work out dry before I can work it out some more. See what the imperfections are and whatnot. So let me see here. Okay. Well, the stream has gone on for 50 minutes. I guess I'm going to leave you. I'm going to let this dry and we'll see what tomorrow brings. We'll probably do the details of the shirt. Probably, hopefully by then I'm going to decide what I'm going to do with this poor guy's legs. Am I going to paint them? If so, what color, what style of pants, etc. I do want to keep that cloth around his legs and that loin cloth. I was seeing something yellow there. I don't know, we'll see. Anyways, I want to thank you all very much for joining me. I'm going to leave you again with my schedule, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow for the continuation of my samsara dancer. Hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you later. Ciao, mes amis.